Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of TL Overlander. It's been a pretty busy last couple of weeks as I'm going through and prepping my gear, getting ready for the first trip of the season, which is right around the corner. For many Canadians, the Victoria Day long weekend is the official kickoff to summer, and for me and Lexi, we're doing a sort of a shakedown run in the Bronco to iconic Algonquin Provincial Park. My first visit to Algonquin as a kid was about 45 years ago, and I have lots of great memories of my stays there. It's definitely a magical place for me and many others. Be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell below so you don't miss it. It's going to be a great episode. In my last video, I mentioned doing an upgrade to my camp setup, and you've probably all figured out what it is. So yes, I went out and bought a new 12-volt compressor fridge to replace my trusty Woods roto cooler. This has all been part of the plan since the beginning, having something to give me the ability to spend more time on longer stays out in the wild without having to worry about cooler ice and food spoilage, or warm beer. And to be honest, my Woods cooler is also pretty small, at just 20 liters, and once it's packed with ice, you really have to plan your grocery list and get creative with meal planning. But besides cooler capacity, another consideration for me, being a two-door Bronco owner, is packing and storage space in the back of the truck. While I want to upgrade my cooler capacity, I still need something small enough and compact to fit where my ice cooler sat, else some serious rearranging would have to happen with my travel setup. Another important consideration with a cooler upgrade, of course, is cost. A good quality, popularly branded travel compressor fridge can easily get into the four-figure mark, and that's just not something I'm willing to cough up, no matter what name badge is on the unit. So while doing some online research for decent fridges and checking out some YouTube reviews, one name kept on coming up. BougeRV. Well, I think it's called BougeRV. Maybe it's BougeRV? Anyway, let's go have a look. So BougeRV has an official e-commerce website as well as an Amazon storefront. I noticed right away the free shipping offer on Amazon, so I went that route. The products they sell on Amazon are likely warehoused locally, so that might be the better shipping option. The $6 basic shipping fee was reimbursed at checkout, and they also threw in a $100 off coupon, so all told, it was just over $400 delivered. And the basic shipping actually had the fridge at my front door the very next day. Another bonus that sold me on the Bouge was a 3-year warranty upgrade for joining their Facebook group. Standard warranty is still a respectable 2 years. Simply drop in your order number and email address and you're all set. So I mentioned a major consideration for me was the actual cooler footprint. As you can see, compared to my Woods ice cooler, the fridge isn't a whole lot bigger. Note, however, the fridge compressor and electronics take up some of the end space. Where the fridge makes up the additional capacity is in its height, which makes the most sense to me. In fact, the CR Pro range of fridges all have the same footprint and vary the capacity with differing heights. So it is for this reason that I went with the largest capacity they offered in that range. Overall, the 30-liter fridge has a height of about 15.5 inches, a width of 23.3 inches, and a depth just over 1.5 feet, which is pretty compact. The weight of the fridge empty is just under 23 pounds, which again is reasonably light. My Woods cooler is approximately 16 pounds by comparison, and this isn't including the ice. The fridge comes with everything you need to run, including both a 12-volt car accessory plug as well as a 120-volt outlet brick. An important consideration for any portable fridge is the compressor warranty, and the Bouge is covered for 2 years, which I assume is also lengthened to 3 years with the Facebook registration. The unit has a built-in configurable 3-level car battery protection circuit if the unit is run off the starter battery. This will detect and disconnect the fridge from the car battery if the levels get too low, so still allowing you to start your car the next day. A couple of additional options that are offered are an outside insulated cover for additional R value and a cool little lithium battery pack that'll run the fridge for up to 6 hours. The battery pack is designed to fit perfectly in the side compartment of the fridge, and the storage compartment has a thoughtful cable pass-through hole in the back to plug into the battery pack. When not used to run the fridge, the unit can be used as a standalone off-grid battery pack that has a flashlight, 12-volt accessory plug, and USB-A and USB-C connections. The fridge compartment can then be used for cable storage or for packing away non-perishable food items. I wanted to test the efficiency of the fridge on how well it could bring down the food chest from an ambient 17 degrees Celsius to a cool 3 degrees or 37 Fahrenheit. With the fridge running off the 120 volt AC household outlet, I set a timer on the phone and timed how long it would take to get the desired temp. Turns out just under 17 minutes, which isn't totally unreasonable. Another consideration with having a powered accessory like a fridge is sound levels. With the unit running in max mode, I'm showing about 80 decibels with a close set mic. Room ambient noise levels fall in about 60 decibels with my media server audibly running in the background. Of course, this may not matter too much for most people unless maybe you're sleeping beside the unit, and some people are set up that way. As far as power consumption, I didn't test this directly myself, but online reviews I've seen confirm the manufacturer's ratings, which are about 45 watts eco and 60 watts on max mode, or about 3.75 and 5 amps respectively at 12 volts nominal input. Remember, this is a compressor fridge like the refrigerator you have in your home, and therefore only runs to maintain the desired inside temps. It doesn't continually draw power. Also keep in mind the insulative R value of something, whether it be a fridge or a house, is a measurement of thermal resistance. If the temperature differential between the inside and outside of the fridge is greater, the unit will have to work harder to maintain the desired temps. This is the reason I skipped on shopping for a dual zone freezer fridge. I don't particularly need the luxury of a freezer compartment when I travel, and the greater power consumption required to keep those freezing temps would probably overwhelm my modest onboard power setup. Next, I wanted to test fit it into the Bronco to make sure I wasn't going to have any surprises on trip day. But first I had to reinstall my lithium auxiliary power setup back into the truck, which I had removed for the winter. Probably the best money I ever spent on accessories for overlanding, the Renogy lithium battery setup ranks near the top. I just couldn't do what I do without it. With the battery connected, it's just a matter of installing the main fuse, switching on the disconnect, and making sure everything powers up. Having the optional Bluetooth module allows me to monitor the battery and charge performance from the Renogy app on my phone, which is awesome. Once I'm satisfied that the main battery circuit is functioning properly, I drop in the fuse for the alternator charging circuit. Now to actually test the fridge on my custom slide out. My original roto cooler had a small amount of overhang from side to side, which is fine, and the fridge is no different. I just have to make sure it clears the tailgate latch on the driver's sidewall. The fridge would probably fit a lot nicer on the slide out lengthwise, but then I'd have to find a new home for the Milwaukee pack out system. After that, it's just a matter of plugging it in, switching it on, and making sure it's getting power. The CR Pro model of the BougeRV refrigerators come with loops for tie-down straps, and that's why I went with that model. I wanted to double check my cam straps, make sure they were long enough to work, and they seem fine. And this is how it looks in the truck. Not too bad for space. Enough room still for traveling with the dog, and even the two-tone gray color complements the Bronco's interior. From overhead, the size comparison is kind of skewed because of the extra height of the fridge, but overall size is pretty similar to the cooler. Comparing the two side by side, when you consider that you no longer have to pack ice into it, the fridge offers considerably more than 12 liters more usable space compared to the roto cooler. I'm gonna have to make sure my friend Lee sees this fridge review. You'll remember him from last season when he joined me and Jackson on his first Crown Line excursion to Northern Ontario. At that time he drove his completely stock Toyota Tundra, and we had some fireside chats about upgrades he wanted to make during the off season. Well, it turns out Lee was pretty busy over the winter, with the Yoda getting some new wheels and tires, Fox shocks on lifted suspension, new front and back bumpers, and a bed cap, just to name a few things. It's looking pretty good, Lee. I can't wait to see it in person. Well, I hope you found some useful information in this episode. Like many of you have already realized, having a 12-volt compressor fridge on your overland travels is an absolute game changer. Not having to worry about ice and spoiled food alleviates a lot of the worries about camping, especially in way off remote areas. Longer stays and deeper runs are all possible now, and with my Renogy dual input charge controller, I can keep the lithium battery topped up with my solar panel and the Bronco's charging system while driving. I guess the only limiting travel constraints for me now are fuel stops. Another solution I've been working on, and you'll see that soon in an upcoming episode. Well, I still have a million things left to do to get ready for the first trip of the year, and it's coming up pretty fast. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next time here on The Lonely Overlander.